So we'll see a bit of a divergence there, but then they'll come back together after Swamp's done.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. As we can see on the screen, these players are both keyboard and mouse, so there won't be any variance in between there. You see a few more tricks coming out from Covert Muffin, as is expected. He's more experienced in the run. He's played it for a lot longer, so you expect to see him take on some of the more challenging tricks. Whereas Zach has only been running this game for a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, around that period of time. So he is very, very new to this game. But it will be interesting to see how clean he is, how good he can do the movement that he knows well.
Alright, it sounds like we may have had an audio issue or two, so just to remind everybody who was not listening when you couldn't hear anything, commentating today for this excellent race we have coming up, I'm going to be Sigma, and my great, amazing, spectacular co-commentator, it's Hello Jiminy.
Well, thank you very much, Sigma. Again, I feel like that was slightly overdone. Sigma is a far better person than I am, well known in the community. He gives me way too much credit.
Just just giving a little bit of credit to the guy who's second off the world record, just a little bit.
Yeah, anyone can do it. They're just gonna put in lots of time, and we're gonna see how much time these guys have put into their runs. And hopefully it's going to really show. We're going to have quite a close race. I know the PBs of the two runners are quite different. Muffin has around the 32, 31. I can't remember his time specifically. If you know, putting you on the spot there.
The numbers are difficult. I don't know, man.
Anyway, yeah, he's got quite a low time. It's really, really competitive. And Zach, with being a new runner, he's got a really respectable time at the moment at 36. And I was watching his stream just before this, and he did actually get a PB. It was a small PB, but it was a PB nonetheless. So that means he is racing on form, and hopefully we'll get to see that in the race today.
Yeah. We can also see sitting on this group screen here that this group has torn through a lot of matches. There's a few groups that been slacking off and haven't even played one yet, but this is already going to be Covert Muffin's last race in the group stage. He's looking to go 3-0 here, and I believe that we're following this race up. Right after this one's done, we're going to be going into the other two members of this group, Rory and Trite Knight, looking to pick up their first win in group stages. So these guys are very enthusiastic about playing their matches, and we'll be trying to get this one underway shortly.
Yeah, they are setting the example for getting races done quick and very spectacularly. They have been very good races in this. And unlike my group, where I don't believe anyone has actually done any of their races yet, but all will come in time.
Yeah, I've been holding out on mine because I want to make sure we find the Sunstone skip before I get any of my race times in, and you know it's coming.
Oh, and as we see that beautiful transition on the screen there, we're going to... Not quite yet, but we're pretty close to the start of the match. And on the Covert Muffin scene, we can actually see some of the beautiful cutscenes that we will never see in these runs.
You know, judging from his previous races, I'm pretty sure he's going to finish. His main motivation for winning the race is so that he can finish first and start mashing out the end of Forlorn cutscene as much as he can.
I wouldn't be surprised. And here we go, we're finally off. So we have Covert Muffin on the left and Zacknir on the right. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the start of the game, what we expect to see, Sigma?
Yeah, no grenade jumps yet, unfortunately, for Muffin.
Shame.
All we can do is run and jump. We're a long, at least 25, 26 minutes away from being able to do something like that. So, not too much very involved going on yet. The runners will just be hopping because it's a little bit faster than running along the ground as we progress over to grab our first skill, Sign.
Yes, and Sign is going to allow us to attack enemies and brambles and anything that might stand in our way. It is a required pickup as we are in the All Skills category, and you can't really progress that far in the game without Sign, although people have tried in the past.
Yeah, if you're very, very persistent, you can actually skip this, but, it's a skill for the category, and the methods of skipping Sign are very slow. Very slow. But we see both of our runners annihilating these poor Frankies. They were just kind of jumping in to see what the noise was. Like, oh, what's going on in this clearing here? And then we killed them in cold blood. They're gone.
Yeah, the game tries to sell you as Ori's trying to save the forest, but do kill quite a lot of enemies in this game. Whether or not they deserve it is up for discussion, I would say.
Yeah, look at all these poor forest creatures. Like, I'm really rooting for Zacknir right here because he didn't kill that extra slime that was just hanging out. Just sending out its like little feeling shots. I mean, look, Muffin even wants to take damage. The slime was just trying to help out by attacking him. These runners want to get down to 1 health through this ghost door. The slimes are just there to help, and we're just killing them left and right.
Yep, and it looks like both of them are doing well in taking the damage. I think they've both got down to 1 health, so we'll see them save, put the keys in the door, kill themselves, and the ghost door will magically open for us to walk straight through and save a tiny bit of time.
Yeah, Muffin had a bit of a lead coming into Ghost Door there, but he actually, through some kind of bad luck, managed to be at 3 health, which let Zack catch up a little bit, now only a couple seconds behind. We'll see how Muffin moves through this part. Muffin's actually done something interesting here, where he tries to kill extra enemies along the way, and will skip jumping into the flower on the roof there, as you just saw. On Zacknir's screen on the right, you see him jumping into this flower. Almost everybody grabs that 5 experience there, but Muffin has, you know, taken enough of a look at this segment and said, I'm going to try to optimize this just a little bit more and save like half a second by skipping it.
Yeah, and when it comes to this game, it can come down to that half a second. So any time saves you feel like you can get, I would grab them with both hands and never let go.
Exactly.
But on the left-hand side, we see Muffin. He's just coming up to the first real skill of the game, in my opinion. Some may not agree with that sign. It's definitely not a skill. And it is wall jump. And this will allow us to, as you may have guessed, jump up walls. And that means we're going to collect not really our first energy cell, but the first one that really matters.
Yeah, we want to be picking up energy throughout the run because it will allow us to go faster later, and we need 2 energy at the start here to do a trick that's coming up. Now, it's really unfortunate for all the poor forest creatures that wall jump is down here because we have no other way of getting out of this area. If they just managed to switch this tree out with Charge Flame or something, this game would be a lot more peaceful.
Yes, it would. So, you did refer to Muffin being a terrible person for killing all of the poor forest creatures, but there is actually a good reason for this. When you kill them, they drop little experience orbs, and it may not have seen it, but these runners have been counting all of the experience. Maybe not exactly, but they have to time a level up coming, not quite yet, but it'll be later on, and we'll explain that a little more. But any experience that they pick up is managed very precisely, and if they get too much or too little, it can affect the game greatly.
Yeah, that's for sure. And in these race settings, that kind of thing can be very intimidating because, you know, if you're doing just runs on your own and you mess up your experience badly and aren't able to set up a trick correctly, then it's like, okay, whatever, I'll just start again. But in a race, you know, if that kind of thing happens, you might have to go back to a previous save, or you might have to come up with some crazy backup on the spot. Fortunately for these guys, they're not going to have too much trouble with it. I don't think they're going to have any issues setting up their experience in this section correctly, but it can happen. We have seen a few races already in this tournament where people had very weird situations come up in the early game, and they had to try to find their best way through it. But now both runners heading to Blackroot Burrows. This area is basically an auto-scroller. As soon as you enter, there's some platforms and lasers later on which begin cycles, and they're pretty much just aiming to hit the optimal cycle, which has a little bit of leeway for them to make it there in time. Muffin having nice movement up to this 100 experience orb. He's not enough of a monster to be killing slimes for experience here. He's going to take this one instead. And he kills some slimes anyways because the level up explosion is brutal and horrifying. Oh my gosh,
Oh, no.
Zack! Yeah, bad luck, but orb fell to the low ground as it was materializing up there, and he's going to have to jump up again. So getting the jumps nicely, but he's definitely dropping a cycle now with having to do that move twice.
Yeah, and speaking of cycles, you just saw Muffin on the left-hand screen save and quit his game. This was not for no reason. It's actually to manipulate the cycles. These cycles are on a specific pattern, and you can actually manipulate them in different ways by waiting and whatnot, as he's going to do right now, or saving and quitting, which will put them exactly where he wants them to be, and hopefully on the next screen he will be able to hit the cycle perfectly and not lose any time.
Yeah, that was definitely a fairly aggressive manipulation from Muffin there. He paused for a very short time before he went to the right here, so it's going to be tense seeing if he can make this platform here, and looks like he gets it just as it goes up out of range, so that was very nice right there.
Yeah, that was a slime that did not want Zacknir to get on these platform cycles. Fortunately, he did a very good dodge. Those sniper slimes can be very dangerous in Blackroot burrows and send you right to the bottom and destroy your timer's life points.
Nice manip from Zacknir coming out into this last stream, so keeping a decent distance, not letting the gap grow too much between him and Muffin. Muffin now has got another save anywhere going. He's just going to skip this cutscene before Dash doing this, and then he'll be off and racing along the ground far faster than we were before.
Yeah, the time difference between the two runners is not that much at all. Zack is doing very well to keep up his game against Muffin, who is the more experienced runner, so it's very impressive to see from Zack. Unfortunately, he will be losing a bit of time to Muffin right here. He does not skip this cutscene because of the XP route that he takes with the old route that he's using. But we'll get to see some cool stuff later on because of that route.
Oh yeah. I'm very much looking forward to the first Ginso escape of the tournament.
Oh, I think everyone's going to be excited for that music and all of that beautiful water.
So now Muffin has renounced his horrible ways, and he's going to make friends with this one enemy. He's going on a walk with it, getting to know it a little bit, trying to get down to the beach, because I know Muffin does enjoy his long walks at the beach. But just taking his buddy over here, you know, over into this nice secluded area just to sit down and get to know him a little bit. And oh my god!
Why would you do that, Muffin? Oh, okay.
He just killed it.
Why? We thought they were going on a nice romantic trip. It is Valentine's Day after all, and he just cold-blooded murdered him.
That was terrible.
I hope Zack doesn't do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Zack, he's a nice guy, right? Like, he skipped killing that extra slime at the start. He just, you know, took experience from the flowers, nice and, you know, like a herbivore, not some crazy here like Muffin is.
He's a terrible.
Okay, let's watch Zack's screen. Is he gonna kill this one too? Oh my gosh!
Ah, this is not the day of love at all. But we should actually explain what they are doing. To get the XP route that we were talking about was very precise, was for that exact moment. So the two doors, energy doors, I should say. We only have 2 energy, so we have to kill him, level up, put the other 2 energy that we get from the level up, and we open that up.
Alright, Muffin, overcome with guilt, is now going to take an intentional death. That speeds him up by getting through this ghost door, and also does a little bit to, you know, calm the conscience after you've killed so many poor innocent forest animals. Now, Zacknir coming up on a trick called Early Grotto Cycle. Muffin did not get this. Zack actually doesn't look like he went for it. It's very precise and also easy to just die while doing it, so taking a pass on that one.
Yeah, I believe he doesn't go for it. He hasn't actually learned the trick yet, as he is a very new runner, so it's just one thing. It only saves 8 seconds. There's plenty of other bigger time saves in the run that you can learn first.
Yeah, that's for sure. Alright, so Zack also taking a death through his ghost door there. His setup, I think, was a little bit better than Muffin's. He didn't have to head over to the left to get hit by the Frankie. So yeah, maybe a little bit of time back there, but Muffin has definitely opened up a bit of a lead in this early game.
Ooh, and we see Muffin doing the grotto skip there. That is a lot harder than Muffin actually made it out to be. There's only a precise ledge that you can jump on there, and it takes a lot of practice, which he has put into the game and gets it first try.
Yeah, that was very nice. Good blind movement out of double jump coming out from Zack, already most of the way up the wall by the time the camera catches up. Now we see both our runners progressing through grotto. Grotto walls are notoriously difficult to jump on. They're not flat. There's bumps and little mini ledges all over the place. Both these runners doing very well with it so far, but it's not surprising to see people just, you know, sit on a wall for a second as their wall jump just gets eaten by nothing. And Zack, nice first try grotto skip as well from him, so playing very well here.
Yeah, he's not letting Muffin get away at all. He's pulling all the difficult tricks off perfectly first try, so he's trying to close that gap. Muffin, unfortunately, is not really letting him. Ooh, he takes a bit of damage from the falling slime there, so he will be quite low, but he should be okay as long as Gandalf is quite nice to him. I should mention, Gandalf is the name of this slime because you can dash straight through him, but sometimes, more often than not, he will not let you pass.
Yeah, that dash straight through the slime is so difficult to get consistent. You have to be at a very specific distance from him to get it to work, and everybody tries all the time, but the rate of success is just really really low.
Yeah. I don't think there is any sort of consistent way, not that I've came across anywhere. If anyone finds it, please tell me.
Alright, so we've got Muffin heading up towards the Ginso tree now. He's got to head over and grab this teleporter. So he's going to use Dash's effect on Ori's hitbox to wedge himself between the rock and the roof there. Can't normally get through that without Dash. He'll grab the teleporter just by standing on it. He'll be using that one later. And now he's heading up towards the Ginso tree.
Yes, first he's going to have to save and perfectly quit out of a cutscene, so we get to see Gumo trying to talk to us. We kind of just ignore him, and we already have the water vein that he's holding because we kind of broke the game, and we just go into the tree without having to watch anything for a long time. It's quite nice. But we're going to see Zack on the right-hand side, coming up to the same crush cycle. This can be dangerous if you don't do this in time. The spikes will crush you to death. And he gets through there second time. He should be fine on the way out. And on the left-hand side, we see the Ginso tree in all of its glory.
Yeah, this dungeon can be very treacherous. It's easy to fall in a lot of these jumps and just take a huge time loss as you slip down to the start of the room, but Muffin making it through okay. He's got a safety save down, and he's just going to be going through the portal room here, so things are a little bit more relaxing as he steps into the puzzle room auto-scroller. We'll take a look at Zack on the right as he goes through these first few rooms again, so we'll see how he manages to get through these.
Yes, he should know this room better than anyone, as he's going to do the entire tree. Muffin is only going to do half the tree, and then teleport out. But Zack didn't actually take one of the teleporters that Muffin had to go to, so saved a little bit of time there. But overall in Ginso, you will actually lose around 30 to 40 seconds, depending on how well you can pull off the tricks, to actually finishing off the entire tree.
Yeah, Muffin had a very strong opening to the mini-boss. He got 5 volleys off on the first cycle. It's possible to 4-cycle this boss if you get 5 volleys on 4 consecutive cycles, but it's very difficult to do, so I think we're seeing an early 5-cycle from him. Very nice mini-boss from Muffin. He's going to intentionally eat some spikes there to set up his next redemption death for having just murdered that poor worm that was just hanging out in the tree.
Yeah, he's just getting more and more cruel as this run goes on, it seems. He's not a very nice person.
Yeah, fortunately, we're going to learn our next skill very shortly. Muffin is one room away from a super hug, which lets him grab enemies in his arms, give them a warm, loving hug, and because of that, that lets him throw himself in a different direction with their help to help progress through the areas. So now he's revised his horrible ways. He's going to be using Super Hug on this lantern here to throw himself up, and then this Franki's going to jump down and help him get over that spike wall there. So we see that he's rethought his terrible ways and now going to cooperating with the forest creatures to finish the rest of the game.
Yes, the best skill in the game is in fact Super Hug. A very apt name for that skill. We see Zack on the right hand side. He's just coming to the same ghost door we saw Muffin do, and he is doing very well. He made very quick work of the mini boss. He's only around 40 to 50 seconds behind Muffin at this point, which is really, really good for the difference in times that these guys have. He's putting on a show.
Yeah, he's been playing quite well. Now we see Muffin. He's going to set up another intentional death here, falling into these spikes, and he's actually too far from the door there.
So with that door, you actually, when you kill yourself, you want to have those keys in that door. It's a very specific area that you get if you go a bit to the left, you actually die and don't put in keys. But when you do die, you put those 3 keys into your inventory, and then you can have another go. And altogether, you get 7 keys, which will save an unwanted swim and an impossible swim for Muffin later in the game.
Yeah, even though Zack is going to have clean water when he gets to swamp, opening the swamp door with the intended keys that are underwater is extremely slow, so he'll be duplicating keys as well. Muffin, as you said, can't even do the swim for the keys because you'd need probably about 14 or 15 health to pull it off, and he has 4.
Yes. There is some crazy people who even take less than 4, but 4 I would say is the average for every runner, in my opinion. Some take a little bit more, some take a little bit less, depending on how safe or crazy you want to be.
Yeah, there's some people out there that are, you know, still use 3 health. Of course, 3 health is faster by I think 3 seconds. I want to say
3 to 4 seconds. Yes.
There you go. But it's very easy to die, so most runners will opt to take 4 off the bat, and we now see Muffin coming up on the swamp entry here. This trick is not too easy. He's going to have to manipulate a frog after he gets through a little bit of blind movement here, and use it to break his way into swamp. So we'll see how this goes for him as Zack is finishing up the boss again. So and the routes diverge here.
The
Zack
frog
heads
looked
up.
like he died.
Oh
yes.
Yeah. Rough. So Muffin having to go back to the blind movement here. This is the kind of thing, like this route divergence, where you use the frog to get into swamp instead of finishing it. So it only saves like 30 seconds. So if you take even 2 or 3 failures on it, you might even be losing time on it. Muffin taking another death there, but it was pretty quick. Actually dunking the frog. So this swamp entry giving Muffin a fair bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, it is not good. These super hugs need to be very precise to get the frog in the correct place, and he's finally got him to the correct place now. Hopefully the frog obeys his commands.
Oh
no!
That frog doesn't have enough health anymore. He's got to kill it and reset. Zack has done his core skip correctly. I didn't even mention that, but it's a timed level up to skip top of the Ginso tree, and he's onto his Ginso escape while Muffin is stuck on the entry. So the route actually paying off big time for Zacknir here. Not having issues with his swamp entry means he's actually going to be saving time by using the older route.
Yeah, this is very unlike Muffin. We would expect him to get this pretty consistently, but it seems like the nerves may be getting to him. I know both of the streamers are not watching each other, so it's not that they know where they are. It may be that they're playing mind games with themselves to where they think they are in this race.
Yeah, I know Muffin doesn't like to watch his opponent's stream as he races because he just wants to, stay focused on what he's doing. So he doesn't know what the race state is, but he can't be feeling great about that swamp entry, but he's got it through now, and he's through to swamp. Of course, he's still keeping the lead that he had entering into Ginso, so he has, at least about 40 seconds, something along those lines, still ahead of Zacknir here. But Zacknir getting through with clean water is nice stuff for him, and Muffin will be able to get out of swamp here. Oh god, he's taking a bath! That water is way too hot.
Muffin doing what Muffin does best, and he does take a bath, which closes the lead even tighter. Zack is just relentlessly catching up. He's not making any mistakes. He's letting Muffin just make the few mistakes that he has, and it's enough for him to get back into the game. He just misses the log there, so he loses a bit of time, but he's still in this race.
Yeah, one thing to note is because Muffin entered into swamp from above, he's able to use this top route to get out, whereas we're going to see a new trick, or an old trick perhaps I should say, coming out from Zacknir soon called Drainless.
Yes, it may actually be a new trick to quite a lot of our runners, because we have had an influx of new runners, so you may see something that you've never seen before. It's going to be a... Oh, wait, I jumped a bit forward. We're going to see it just on the right-hand side here. So he's going to do a very precise save, and then a stomp, then try and level up an ability, and that will put him towards the ground on the water below, but still able to stomp the breakable floor below it. It sounds crazy, but just look at it in action.
Yeah, that setup looked good to me, and he should be through and able to swim out. Nice non-poison water swimming exit.
Beautiful.
Some funny things before we realize the correct way to get out of... Oh, taking a death there. He has to just reload the file and the floor will break again, so no big issues there. He doesn't have to reuse a point or anything like that. But some funny historical knowledge is back when we first did the waterless route, we were checking if going out the top way from Swamp or using the bottom path was actually faster, and for a very brief moment, we thought that perhaps we're going to have to swim through the drainless water while it was poisonous, and fortunately that turned out to be slower, so we don't have some terrifying low health swim through spikes ahead of us. Now we have Zacknir coming up on the Crow cutscene skip. Muffin got this one first try, so we'll see how Zack goes. It's a precise position and bash angle to get through, and he gets it super fast, no problem.
Yes, and on the left-hand side we see Muffin making his way to the later half of the run, which is more terrifying, super fast-paced, and is full of spikes and sometimes death, which hopefully we won't see, but you never know what happens in a race.
Yeah, it can be very scary. I think Muffin's been playing very well. The only real major hiccup he had was that trouble with Swamp entry, but it's been lightning fast since then. He's using his charge dashes effectively. It helps him get closer to these enemies and hug them. He's just going to give that bird a bop on his head, but notice that he's intentionally not killing these enemies because he really just doesn't want any more blood on his hands.
Yeah, I think he's took all that he can at the moment. He's starting to feel very, very guilty. On the right-hand side, we see Zack picking up Charge Flame. This is not going to be used all that much. He may use it on the Misty mini-boss. I've seen him do a couple of times, but other than that, he might break a few walls. Not that important, apart from the fact that it is an all-skills run and we have to pick it up.
Muffin nailing fast Stompless there. That's a quick little skip to get into Valley a little bit faster and get to Feather. Now, he's going to be using Charge Dash in a new way. He's going to be throwing an enemy above him with a Super Hug, and then using a Charge Dash to send himself flying up to the top of Valley, where he's going to be doing a tough trick called Sorrow Super Hug, which he has to use a bird to help him get through these spikes, his bird friend.
Yeah, these birds, they all need super hugs in a very precise way, and it can be hard to manipulate them, as you see by Muffin doing it absolutely perfectly. His super hugs were the best, the birds loved him and let him straight through Sucker.
It's very good, very good. Oh man, that was a little close. He did take a hit from the bird on his entry into Sorrow, so, and eating that shot would, oh my gosh, he's at 1 health. Muffin,
this is a dangerous place to be. Please save, please save. And
good save.
Yes, in this place, there's a lot of spikes that could kill you, and I would like to guide your attention to Zacknir, who's just trying to pull off fast Stompless. The shot did look pretty good. He was very worried about this trick, and he's just collecting the cell and hits the rocks perfectly. You'll be very happy with that.
Very nice play. This is great pace from Zacknir here for sure. Muffin coming up on charge jump now.
Yes, and this is where we see Covert Muffin. After he's been to Sunstone and done what he needs to do up there, he's going to take a little bit of a different route. Ooh, he kind of stomped straight into the spikes there, but doesn't lose too much time as he's close to the tree. But he will be going a different path to what you may have seen in many of the other runs, and it will be a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, we have a nice varied sort of set of routes here. Muffin doing his patented what's 20 seconds route, Zacknir doing the classic Ginso escape route. So we get to see, not at all what most of the runners in the tournament are doing, but some different approaches to Ori that you don't always see, but sometimes do happen.
So here we see Zack using a bunch of double super hugs. Unfortunately, he dies there. If he held Feather, he might have been able to make that, but the double super hug is quite a hard trick. It's a one-frame trick, which is made easier by some of the KBM inputs, but it's still a very precise trick, and he's having a little bit of trouble. This one looks good. Oh, a double super hug there, and we're through and safe.
That's like a quad super hug. That's very intense.
It is Valentine's Day after all.
He's now heading out of Sorrow Pass, and as Ella was saying, we're going to see a bit of a difference here. He's not going to head to Misty Woods right away to go grab Climb. What is he doing to that poor frog? Okay, he needed experience, I guess, but that was terrifying.
Why would he kill that frog? No. Oh, there's... Repent for your sins, Muffin. You have been smited by the spikes of the frog.
Oh, man.
I don't think he was that low on experience, but apparently he feels like he needs just a little bit more for later on in the game. We shall
Alright,
see.
so this is kind of funny because the the route that he's doing needs an ability point a little bit earlier than the other routes. He needs an ability point to be able to skip the cutscene and enter Light Grenade. And the experience from the Misty mini-boss, which is going to be doing much later, was pretty much useless in this route. So they used to not care if they leveled up or not. But I believe yesterday or the day before, the idea came across that, well, you can do a save and reload at the door, the very end of Misty. And he'll be using a level up probably to do that, and it's very slightly faster to do it with an ability point rather than a save. So I think he just wants to make sure that he levels up there.
I will just have to interrupt you there, Sigma. Unfortunately, Zack has made quite the error, and he leveled up and failed the Terror Break. So he's had to actually reload an earlier save, which fortunately wasn't that far away, so he's just going to go quickly back to the tree. Hopefully do it again, get the save and Terror Break perfectly, and everything will be fine.
Oh, that is rough. That trick, it's not too hard to pull off, but it's easy to make a mistake, and a mistake that's, very fatal, that to cause you to go back to a save like that. We've seen already in the tournament a couple people that had to go watch the Sunstone cutscene. I think it'll actually be faster for Zacknir to be redoing the trick correctly and skipping the Sunstone cutscene, because that cutscene is over a minute long. He gets it that time, so nice job.
So Muffin has went early to get the Light Grenade, which right now is a useless ability. But he's making his way over to Climb, and Climb with the Light Grenade is like peanut butter and jelly. It is the best thing you've ever seen, and you will see it by Muffin in just a short while.
Yeah, he's set himself up to do a whole bunch of grenade jumps throughout Misty. This is the purpose of coming to Light Grenade first. This route is a little bit slower, but it really looks awesome. You'll understand once we get to Climb why Muffin likes doing this so much. So the way a grenade jump works is you climb on the wall, aim a charge jump, throw a grenade, and then the frame after you throw a grenade, it's 1/60th of a second, you perform the jump, and it just sends you flying super fast and super far through the area. So Muffin has worked on all these nice, precise grenade jump angles to just tear through the second part of Misty, and we're going to be treated to that very shortly.
Yeah, he is storming through there. Meanwhile, Zack on the right-hand side has successfully collected Sunstone. He will be happy to see the backside of Misty of Sorrow, and is making his way to the area which Muffin is at right now. So it looks like he's caught up a lot. Unfortunately, takes a little death there, but he actually has to go to a different area which Muffin has already hit.
Yeah, so Muffin with a commanding lead at this part of the race. It's to be expected when your personal bests are, 4 or 5 minutes apart like these guys are. But Zack has been putting on a great show here. Aside until the moment where he had to redo Terror Break, I think he was on a very good pace for himself. But now we'll just be looking to finish it as strong as possible. There's our first grenade jump from Muffin, and here comes some more. He misses that one. He's got to go for it again. Come on. No.
He will go for it until he gets it. I know.
He'll get it. Oh my gosh, it's so good, and it's not over yet. I think he has one set up for every room in here. Float over to the keystone? Why? Let's go.
They are so dangerous. Like, they do have time save, but you have to be so sure of yourself that you can pull off these tricks within a couple of tries. Otherwise, they lose quite a lot of time, and even maybe quite a lot of energy, which you really need in these areas of the game.
Yeah, and we see him taking a couple attempts at each of these. They are very difficult to pull off. Only 1/60th of a second to input the jump, so the rate that Muffin gets them at is incredible. I would dare say that he might be the best grenade jumper among all Ori runners, and this is why he does this.
Yep, he does it regardless of the time loss that he will take, because he loves doing it. He loves to have fun. That's just the type of runner he is. He doesn't really care if he wins or loses. He just wants to do his grenade jumps, as many as he can in a short space of period of time.
I like how he has 4 energy here and 3 health, but he didn't place a save until just there. Okay, here it is. So this is what he made sure he had the experience for. He's got the save anywhere up. He's going to fight the Misty mini-boss with the save anywhere. And now he's going to set up a grenade jump to the last door in Misty. He's got a point to level up and skip it. Puts the keys in, levels up, reloads the file. This saves half a second. Good job, Muffin.
This is the first time I have ever seen that. That was amazing.
He was trying to get a grenade jump out of there before the door reloaded. He only had one chance. He unfortunately missed it. He's gonna go for this one instead.
This is so ridiculous. On the other side of the stream, as I We should point out, Zach, he is tearing his way through Misty.
Oh my
He's not
gosh.
had any problems. Oh, what is Muffin doing? And he will be seeing the mini boss soon, and hopefully we won't see too much of it. He will kill it quicker than the eye can see. Muffin's a madman.
Oh, nice grenade or rocket jump up the meatball shaft there from Zacknir. Not hitting any of the spikes, getting up very fast. So that's very clutch there. Now Muffin coming up on his approach to Horu, which, as you might guess, how do you think actually he's going to move towards Horu? He has charge dash, but he also has grenade jump.
Ooh, I know what he will pick because he's done an entire run based upon this movement. I would be very surprised if he doesn't try this one over the rock, which is basically impossible.
He's gonna go for it again. It's tough.
Oh.
This elemental shooting at him makes it tough. It's a little bit low, so he didn't get the full version, but he's gonna instead just do another grenade jump as his backup for a grenade jump. Of course, why not, right?
Yeah, more grenade jumps the better, right?
Yeah, and there he goes. He gets it and is now entering Mount Horu as Zack finishes up Misty very strong there. Will be heading off to grab Light Grenade himself.
Yep, unfortunately Zack has not been to Light Grenade like Muffin, the grenade jumping god. So he'll have to have a quick visit there, and then he will be joining Covert Muffin in Horu Fields.
Alright, so Muffin here is maybe reloading the game a few times. He's trying to enter the door on the first frame the game loads, and this will just send him to the end of the dungeon rather than being at the start. Having a little bit of trouble with it, missing it a couple times there, but he'll probably get it pretty soon. Muffin is pretty good at these one-frame tricks, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he spends a lot of the game doing them. You think he'd get quite used to them, although he has admitted that he's had trouble with door warp. I think he was saying about an average of 7 attempts, so maybe that is the downfall of his grenade jumps. He spends all of his power on grenade jumps, he can't get the other one-frame tricks.
Yeah, it's certainly different timing your own inputs, like one frame after the other, and kind of based on the game's timing of when the thing loads in. But he gets through there okay now. It's definitely a trick that comes and goes for all of us. Muffin, now through the escape, he's got charge dash, but he also has grenade. Just nailed that one super fast. He's gonna go for another one here.
This one is my
where the fire gets to him. Oh my god!
It's such a good one. And the final boss of the game is almost here. First we have to go through Revenge of the Fish, and he manages to get there with a slither of health left, and the final grenade jump of the game is coming up. This has the ability to soft lock you, so you have to do the entire escape again. Hopefully we will not see that. And he gets it. Well done to Muffin.
Nice. So time's not over for Muffin yet, but all that's left is kind of a final sort of cutscene / victory lap type thing where you just hold right to finish. There's nothing you can do to speed it up. Muffin will probably opt for a little thing we like to call optimizations, which is where you also jump during this, which is slower, but I mean, it's Muffin.
Yeah, you get to see Naru dance. And on the right-hand side, we have seen Zacknir. He has collected all of the skills. He is heading as quickly as possible towards Mount Horu and into the escape. Hopefully we'll see no mishaps on the way and a perfect door. Oh, no. Curse. No! I'm sorry, Zach. He actually
that was right before the health cell, too.
I know. That one. Tantalizing. He just dashed too many times into a swarm and unfortunately has to go to the teleporter.
Oh, yep, still moving along. Looks like he took a bit of damage from the spikes there, but he's through now, and no, he's skipping that health, so he doesn't need that. Or maybe he already has 6. I don't know because his UI is off.
Wow. Interesting fact, Muffin was 62% accurate with all of his grenade jumps.
Thanks to our stats guys for giving us the hot take.
Shoutouts to Gramelios.
Zack doing a big grenade jump of his own to speed his path up to Horu there.
Yeah, he's showing he's not shy of these one-frame tricks, and hopefully he'll nail the last one, which is arguably the most important one. Let's see how good his door warps are. First try?
Yep. Oh yeah!
First try every try. That's how we do it. He actually uses the spam technique. So there's a couple of different techniques you can use. I like to time it myself, whereas Zack likes to just spam up until he can hit it on the first fruit. Works out for him. Entering the final escape. Oh, I was going to ask if we were going to see a water death, but because of the route that he actually uses, the water is clean. So this
That's
is...
right. Why was I thinking he needed 6 health? He has clean water.
Yes, it was optional. He was never going to actually get that health up. How we forget the old routes.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
So the only trouble that will face him is the final grenade jump. And he's shown he can do grenade jumps by that one in Horror Fields that he showed off, so this one is a little more precise with the positions, unfortunately. He successfully despawns the Kuro. It's looking good. He's getting in position. Can we get a first try?
Looks pretty good. I haven't seen yet. I think it worked.
It looked like it worked. Yes, Arya's walking to the right-hand side, which means we skip half of the cutscene that we'd watch, and he just has to march to the right to victory. Or to second place victory.
Well, he killed less forest creatures, so I think we'll count that as a win in a way.
Definitely takes the moral victory. He is not the impaler that Covert Muffin is. And we see the beautiful optimizations.
Always love to see those.
Well, that was an amazing race. Zach was within 30 seconds, 40 seconds of his PB. Muffin, a very respectable time, about 2 minutes within PB. That is amazing to see within a race situation.
Yeah, and with that, we are joined by Covert Muffin, coming in for a little bit of interview here at the end. So, hey Muffin, congratulations on winning that race. How are you feeling after that one? I know you're a little, jumpy.
Yeah, I'm a little frazzled, but that's okay. It was...
Yeah, it was a very respectable run. You did very well. Did you hear about the percentage on your grenade jumps?
No,
62% accurate. You got 13 out of 21 attempts. That was
oh my god, that's amazing. That's good.
That's our stats guys for you. They're all
nice.
Well, how did you feel at the run went, Muffin? Did you feel there was some bad points, good points, good run overall?
It was actually kind of funny because I was talking to another runner who also struggled with nerves yesterday about coping with them and like trying to recover, and so I was really like frustrated like halfway through, but like that at that stomp entry, I mean, it was clear that I was just floundering. Yes. But I don't know, like I allowed myself to like panic a bit, and then I just like took a couple of deep breaths and I stopped thinking and just worked on clearing my mind. And then after I got to Sea Flame, I was just refocused and ready to go. So I was really happy that with like my late game, because like first try Sorrow Bash, and then yeah, my hands were a little shaky, so I took a death like right at the end of exiting Sorrow. But besides that, it was totally okay. And so good performance, but I'm not happy with the time. Definitely.
Yeah, it was a really solid performance. There was that little bit in the middle with the swamp entry, but it was good to see that you kind of picked yourself up. It was very noticeable that at one point you kind of just went, it's okay, I've got this, I can just play it normal, and then you just did what you did, and your late game was fantastic.
Thank you so much. Good stuff.
So you've managed to take down your Group 3-0. You're the first person, I think, to finish all of your group stage matches, so I'm going to ask, are you looking forward to the bracket, and what are you going to do with your time while you're waiting for the rest of the groups to finish? Is it going to be Ori, or Star Wars, or what's
those are some really good questions. I do speedrun a bunch of other games, so I might just either start working on some Celeste Isles, but I don't really want to stream those, so I might just like stream other speed games to cool off, and then come back and then just start grinding back into all skills leading up to the bracket stage like a week or two beforehand. So that would be nice. This was like my plan, because when they asked me for the opening match, I said, okay, I'm going to try and schedule the rest of my matches within the first 2 weeks. And then I can just like take the rest to just relax and prepare myself for bracket. Because it's going to be a completely different mindset for me when I enter those matches.
Yo, that sounds good. And I like that strategy. Get your matches done so you can play Celeste. That's just that's really good. Just everybody just play Celeste. Just play Celeste.
It's so good.
Don't need to play that game. But anyway, have you any more questions, Sigma?
No, I think we're good. Thanks for joining us, Muffin. It's
Yeah, thank you.
was a pleasure watching your races as always. We love to see all those
Yep.
grenade jumps.
Oh,
So
good.
flashy, so
Beautiful
cool.
to watch. Well,
But yeah, that will wrap us up for this one. So thank you for watching, everybody. But don't go anywhere.
no.
Because very shortly we're going to see the next match of the Kuro's Nest group, which is going to be Rory versus Triton Knight, both looking to take down a win in their group and, you know, looking to grab that second place here after Muffin has clinched the first.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's see how the groups go with Muffin taking this. Who's going to make the winner's bracket and who's going to fall just below and have to suffer the dreaded double elimination.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
All right.
dun.
So we're going to go on a break for a little bit, but we'll be back soon with the next match.
See you later.